Hello everyone, welcome to new tutorial of Spark AI. Today in this video we are going to learn to create glow effect using shader render pass as in the video. Let's start by creating new file. Now we will be arranging required asset for our project. For this tutorial we are going to make particles glow. So we need to work with emitter here and need texture for it. All the texture and patches related to this project will be available in Gumroad. I will link it in description. For adding particle system, go to add object, select particle system and insert it. When you click in emitter, you will see different setting in inspector section. We need to make changes in this section to play or make change in emitter. You can see there are different section here. So in position section we can change the position of emitter, and in scale section we will scale it, and rotation we will rotate our emitter. Similarly, we can use this option from Spark to bring changes in this emitter. You can see values are changing here. Which you can rotate and scale. After that you can see emitter section here. From this section we can edit our emitter. Click drop down option. Then you can see different other option here. Here type means what type of particle you want. Such as here is point. It means particle will emit from single point. And if you choose line, it will emit from a line. And if you choose plane, then it will emit along plane. And similarly, it will emit from a ring if you choose ring option. We will use point as our type. You can see other option is space option. From here we can choose where our particles will appear, such as you can see world and local option here. Local space means the particle will move with the emitter. You can see it is moving. And if you choose world, then particles will have their own position after being emitted. Our next option is birth rate. It means how many particles are emitted per second. By default, it is 20 particles. Here, 20 particles are emitted per second. So for this, we need 10. So we'll change it to 10. Now, 10 particles are emitted per second. You too can vary the value using percentage. Next option is spray angle. Here we change the angle along XYZ of the particle. We will edit value in this second box to set the volume of emission. For example, for this we need to change X and Z value. So we'll change it into 70. You can see particles are moving in angle. You can see other option is warm up option. Check this box to start particle system before the effect is open. so we don't need here. Another option is particle option. Here we can bring changes to our particle. In scale we can change the scale of particle, so we'll select here as 0.02. Now you can see our particle is scaled to 0.02. Next option is lifespan. Here we set value, how long we want to make our emitter appear, such as by default here is 0.4. It means this emitter will appear up to 0.4 second. So we need it for 5 seconds for our project. Now we can see lifespan of this emitter are higher. Now another option is angular velocity. It specifies how fast particle will rotate around its axis. Uncheck this box and we'll change value in this post. Change x to 200. Now you can see particles are rotating, and z to 200. You can change these values according to your requirement. Now another option is shape, but before that let's add material to our particle. Simply click add and material will be added. Rename it as emitter 0. You can change the color here. You too can add texture from this texture section. Let's go to emitter. Now in shape section you can change the shape of emitter. Currently shape of our particle is plane. You can change it to any as listed. You can change it to cube, sphere, cylinder or other. Let's change it back to plane. Next is force. Under it you can apply physical force to particles such as acceleration or drag or any other physical forces. Hope you have understood the basic of particles. Now before starting patches, we will be discussing about few patches that we will be using in this folder. Go to view and show add patch editor. Now our first patch is scene render pass. The scene render pass renders the scene object and its child from here. For example, you are not able to see any emitter or objects from this scene. But if you generated scene render pass from device, now you will be able to see all the scene object from device section. You can see different option inside scene render pass. Here size means size of texture output. Here is sizing mode. There are different size, but we add screen as our size, and you can select different color channel from here, and here is default color. And in background we add camera texture, and in scene object we connect it with device so that we can render every object available under it, such as emitter. And finally we connect texture output with screen output. It is mostly useful in shader computation at low resolution to improve efficiency and storing data in a buffer. For example, connect camera texture to shader and texture to screen output. Now if you change the value of size, you can see difference at the simulation. So shader render pass is used for this purpose. Other paths we are going to use here are blur paths and contrast paths. You can find this path in link in description or create it from tutorial section of Spark Studio. Now these are the paths we required for our project. So now let's start connecting patches. But before that, as we are making our particle golden, so go to emitter, select physically based, increase metallic, and choose emission, choose brown color, and choose environment and source from texture. You can add any. For making this particle more golden, we'll change color value. It's okay. Delete it. Add emitter to patch. Add emitter to patch editor. Add scene render pass. Connect emitter to scene object. Now we'll add texture to contrast. Then add blur path. Duplicate it. Then add output to texture. Now we'll connect this output color with shader render pass. Copy and paste it and connect color with shader. We'll add both render pass values. Now we'll take screen size from device and multiply it. Change it to vector 2. Then add 0.25 and 0.25 in X and Y. Now we'll connect output to texture size. Change the contrast midpoint to 0.7 and step to -2. Change it to 0 and 2. Change the size to 0.128. Offset a render pass of both. You can use it as your requirement. Let's change it to 0.125. Then add multiply paths and set to vector 4. Now we'll combine these two values. So add paths. And connect output with device output. Now you can see result here. Let's move emitter position. Now we'll add different shape and size to our emitter and texture as well, and trigger it with help of picker UI. So for that, duplicate emitter, create each individual material. and change setting similar to emitter 0. Here I have changed the material properties. Now we'll add all emitter here. Then add each object with scene render bus connected with scene object. Then add each values. Add paths. Then finally add output of these two scene render paths. Then connect it with add contrast. Now we'll add texture and change shape one by one of this emitter. So simply hide other emitter. Go to add asset and add animation sequence. Name it as butterfly. Then go to texture and choose file. Go to emitter 0 and select texture as butterfly. Now you can see glowing butterfly here. You too can change it to flat or any other. Hide emitter 0. Go to emitter 1. Make it visible. Now choose file and add texture as dandelion. Again hide it. Go to emitter 3. Make it visible and change shape to sphere. Change its size to 0.15, or you can simply change the radius. Then hide it. Now go to emitter 2 and change shape to star. You can change this value according to your requirement. Now we will add speaker UI. Then we'll add texture. Then we'll add texture for speaker UI. Simply add asset embed for computer. Go to no compression before using it as speaker UI. Now go to texture part and select. Make it visible. Restart. Now you can see speaker UI option here. Now select option index, and now we'll add another patch equals exactly. Control C and Control V. Change the second number respectively 0, 1, 2, and 3. Now go to each emitter and create patch from visible. Then connect it. Now if you click, go to simulators and check it. Now you can see it is working perfectly. Now we are at the end of this tutorial. If you like this tutorial, please like this video and subscribe my channel. And if you have any feedback regarding Spark Air, you can comment down. Thank you.